Hi, everyone. Today I'm sitting down with Gabby, the beautiful soul behind the L.A.F.E, a lupus advocacy platform based in Atlanta. So, today we're going to talk about mindset shifts that helped her reclaim her power, the realities of navigating lupus while trying to protect your peace, and while advocacy work is so deeply personal to her. So, let's welcome Gabby to the show.
Hello. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so glad you came. Can you tell us about your L.A.F.E and what inspired you to start it?
As she said, I'm Gabby, the founder and CEO of the L.A.F.E here in Atlanta, Georgia. What actually inspired me to really start the L.A.F.E was my own personal journey, being diagnosed with lupus in 2012 in the midst of my sophomore year in college. I had to stop, come home, and my life changed in many ways. I had become a mom, had this new illness and all these new symptoms, and everything was just so new. So I essentially just felt alone. So like for the first couple of years, I kind of just was in my head and would jot down these ideas. And I'm just like, I just know it has to be a community out there. And I would meet a community like at the doctor's office. They would introduce support groups, but they would be like older. And it would be like a lot of older women. And I'm like, that was cool too, because, they were nice, but it was just like, I know it has to be somebody like in my age range and my generation, that's doing things that I could relate to. So
Right.
that's where I was like, you know what, it was hard to find, I was like, why don't I create my own sense of community? So when I started, it was like a leap of faith, really. I kind of started with like the lupus walk with my team at first. And then those people would come and it was like, if you have something, we'll support you. So it kind of built off those that supported me with the lupus walk. And then it just was like, okay, I think I'm going to have an event. And so those people came and then strangers came and I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe that leap of faith was worth it. And then it just grew and grew. And then now we're here and we have a whole community of supporters and advocates that just ended up being beyond my expectations ever.
Yeah. Won't you do it?
Yeah.
You just blow it out the park. You never know what it'll do as long as you just have that faith.
Yeah.
So, what does those early days look like for you after being diagnosed with lupus? Was it like scary? Was it like, oh my goodness, have you even heard of lupus before then?
Yeah. So my dad actually has lupus. So
Okay.
he was diagnosed in the East. So I knew what it was growing up, but it didn't peak for me. And I had symptoms, and my peers paid attention to those symptoms, but the doctors at the time, I didn't have the lab work, wasn't matching. So in their mind, they were like, you're fine. So I've experienced pain my whole life pretty much. But like those major symptoms didn't come until, like I said, where it set me down once I got pregnant. Because that's kind of what ignited it. So it was definitely scary because seeing my dad growing up and knowing it, but for what he kind of hid it, because him being a real manly man and
Yeah.
just being a man in general, it just was different on him. He never stopped walking, it never affected him to the point where he just was like in hospital for months and months. So I knew what it was, but I had no idea the journey I had ahead. Cause, even when I was diagnosed, I was like, oh, my dad I had no idea half the things I was going to go through. So I was scared and I was really frustrated and angry. I almost felt like it was a curse. I'm like somebody has a voodoo doll of me somewhere because the symptoms come so quick and so
Right.
out of nowhere. And it's just like, out of nowhere, your hair falling out, your skin is just breaking out. You're like, what's happening? So I was definitely afraid and angry at God in a
Yeah.
sense because I'm just like, what's happening? Why me at all people? I know people who've done worse things to me and did
Right.
stuff, and they haven't done. They living life and doing great, and look at me. So it was just more so of fear and just anger in the
Yeah.
beginning.
What mindset shifts help you feel more stronger and more in control?
Faith over fear.
Mm-hmm.
Having this disease, you see a lot of our fellow warriors, their battles they go through and them, just surviving and then coming to tell their near death experiences. And then you going to the doctor and hearing those same words that you just saw that warrior share, and you can put this fear, like a invisible fear of something in front of you. So it's almost like just having faith over fear, and knowing that your journey is your own, and knowing that not only that, having that faith in God, but having that faith in yourself that I will see a better day, or I will get over this obstacle. Because it's so easy to get stuck. Like when you're
Mm-hmm.
in it, it's just so easy. It just seems impossible. Like I said, when your hair is falling out, when it just seems like it's getting worse and not getting any better, and then you're getting on all these medications. So I just feel like faith over fear is definitely my most, the mindset I carry the most, for sure.
Yeah. What kind of treatment were you on? Like, to help you get improved, or like, are you on any medication now? What do you use to like get better?
So I use a combination of things, but for the medication wise, I am on Plaquenil. I'm on a very low dose of prednisone. I kind of take it as needed at this point, because being
Mm-hmm.
diagnosed, you kind of become a doctor yourself in a sense, and knowing what you need. And I'm also on like blood pressure medications, and I'm on an extensive kidney medication called lupus,
Okay.
since I do have lupus nephritis, but I'm not in the failing stages yet. So it's like a
Not
medication
yet.
that protects it. Yeah, but that's the way they make it seem. They like, you ain't there yet, but lupus gonna eventually get you there. That's what they kind of make it seem. That's why I say it's faith over fear, though. That's why
Right.
I carry
Right.
that faith over fear, because that's basically what they say. We ain't got no cure to it, so we gonna ease you down the road to it. We gonna just tip tap
Yeah.
to it and prolong it in a sense. So yeah, that's just an honest truth in it too. Sadly, they hear it
Mm-hmm.
like that. But yeah, I just that yeah. So yeah, that's leukinase and what's it called, methotrexate.
Methotrexate.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that. And they wanted me to do another chemotherapy, but I think they basically told me that I phased out. Like if I take any more chemotherapy, that I will get cancer, like for sure. Because
Wow.
took such extensive chemos in the beginning that saved my life, like Cytoxan, rituximab, and it was one other one. And I did them for so long. Like Cytoxan is the one that I liked it the most. I mean, I think it was the strongest though, but it's what helped me the most. Like that's where I almost felt
Mm-hmm.
like normal again. But I guess, as like they say, it's just so powerful. It's only but so much they could give you. So that's actually what I feel like knocked me back. Once my body kind of weaned off that, it's like I think it became almost dependent on it. So
Mm-hmm.
as they like give you these powerful medications, like when they're weaning me off, like it's like I kind of suffer in a sense, like, so they have to find something new. The cycle, that it just keeps going.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay, so this is kind of unscripted because I don't know how comfortable you are, and I don't want to just like straight up ask, but so people can't see you, so you are in a wheelchair. So could you describe a little bit more on what could have led that process?
yeah. So the wheelchair journey is a domino effect from lupus affecting my spine. So
Okay.
I was diagnosed with lupus itself in 2012. And then around 2013, I started like noticing like tingles in my legs and like just excruciating pain, which was, as we later found out through that journey, because I was misdiagnosed with that too. They told me I had all kinds of stuff, plantar fasciitis, all kind of stuff. They thought it was in my feet because my feet is what started the pain. So they were focused on my feet. But eventually, when I went to a really good podiatrist that was very educated, and I had a lot of respect for him because a lot of doctors tried to tell him he was wrong, but he actually ended up being the only one that was right. He kept doing my feet, and I would go to him literally every week because I was in pain. So he was like, I don't think, he was like, your feet are being affected, but I think it's your spine. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
having a neurological problem, because I'm giving you everything for plantar fasciitis. I'm giving you everything for your feet, and it's getting worse. So clearly, that's not the culprit. Like you need to
Mm-hmm.
dig deeper. And that's what he was like. Go to a neurologist, and that's exactly what I did. And sure enough, I was diagnosed with transverse myelitis. Once they did a CAT scan on my spine, and they saw there was lesions that lupus had when it ate up, started eating the melanin out of my spinal cord. It's basically like, like the typical, it's like the discoid rashes almost, but
Mm-hmm.
it's on my spine. Like lupus was doing
Wow.
that, but it to the inside of my body. By the time I started treatments, it had done the damage that you see, like it had
Mm-hmm.
my spine in those places that affect my lower extremities, like my bladder, my bowels, all that had got discombobulated. So that's why even when people ask me, like, will you walk again? My neurologist is like, you're not paralyzed. Like, it's literally
Mhm.
just leak. Like, your spine has scabs on it. Like, when you scrape your arm, like, you know how you wake up and a scab is black the next morning. Like, your spine is just 10 times slower. So all those lesions that left, they're just healing. So I've seen improvements over the years. It's just the waiting game and being sure that lupus don't come back and try to cause more damage between that healing. The wheelchair is really just like a product. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the after effects of all the damage I went through and what my body endured in a sense. So that's why it's just like it's kind of hard because you feel strong because you're like I survived that, but then
Mhm.
it's like it knocked my body down. Like I'm now in a wheelchair, but in a sense you feel strong because it's like, dang, they didn't think I was gonna have anything back. Like they didn't think I was gonna be able to walk at all. They thought it was gonna paralyze me the way the lesions were going and at the pace. Like you said, God, he was like, no, gotta do it now. He like, they don't dictate that. I have the say so in your body and your healing. So now at this point, my doctors have me as a case study because everything they predicted is not true. And then now they
Mhm.
just like at Emory, they just make me a case study because they like
Mhm.
we just go with the flow and whatever worked for you, we'll say it's gonna work for the next person, but we don't know. They really have no idea.
So you can get in and out of it. You just use it
Oh
for
yeah,
like, yeah. Okay. I
yeah. We have
figured.
stairs in my house, so I get up and walk up and down the stairs every day. I just have like a wheelchair at the top of the stairs, and my other wheelchairs at the bottom. But yeah, I can walk on like a walker. I can even take a few steps like feeling on, but I can't just like let
Mhm.
walk willy nilly and run.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
I don't know
can.
if you know this about me, but I was in the wheelchair when I was early diagnosed as well. Like I was super, super tiny, like 80 pounds, and I just couldn't, I didn't have the strength to even walk on my own legs.
Wow.
So I know what it's like to have that. I don't know. It was weird at first because it was just like 1 minute your body can do something and then all of a sudden it just can't. And it's just like
Yeah.
a total shock, I guess. And
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I definitely have days where I can't walk at all. Like, and I hate those days. And it's usually like really bad. I'm surprised my body is aching now. It's usually like the rainy days around my cycle. Like my body,
Hmm.
my knee is just like I ain't gonna work it at all. And my butt, it's like my butt go numb and my knees go. I'm
Yeah.
like, what's happening? And then, like you said, I wake up and my knees like I want to work again. It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah. Just go with it, like you said.
And now we become doctors on our own, so we just take our little medications, get our heating pads and our little ice packs, and do what we got to do until we back in commission.
Yeah, because when you got kids, you just got to do what you got to do.
Or that's why I'm glad she's getting older, thank God, and she understands. Because I'm like, baby, you see that little frozen pasta in the put it in the oven now, and put your timer
Hmm.
on. She's like, okay, I'm like, because I just can't stand in front of that stove right now. I cannot do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how has lupus affected your social life and how do you protect your peace or your joy right now?
It has affected my social life in a bittersweet way because
Okay.
I'll say that as in the aspect of I lost a lot of friends, but I gained a lot of real ones.
Hmm.
A lot of people that I thought was like my genuine friends, it showed me that they were there mostly for like the good times, the good conversations. They didn't want to hear me, say I don't feel well. They didn't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear I can't go. They didn't want to hear that. So I had people trickle off, but I also gained a great community. I mean, I've met some
Right.
amazing people, like genuine people, relatable people, like-minded people. So it's been bittersweet. So like I said, I lost a lot of people that hurt me. Lifelong friends, college friends since college. And it continues to happen. Like, even when we had these conversations, you would think that those people hear and listen. But every year I feel like I lose a long time friend from them not understanding when I go through a phase and they can't understand why I'm not answering. They can't
Hmm.
understand why I'm not giving them that energy I usually give. Like I'm having a down on me here.
Right.
But like I said, that's what makes me grateful because I don't demand a lot as a friend, especially, being chronically ill. So those friends I lost, they were probably really never my real friends anyways.
Right.
So it has, like I said, brought so much positivity and genuine people. My social life now that I'm a vet in the game a little bit,
Yeah.
it's positive now. Because at once it was depressing because I was hyper focusing on the people that were leaving rather than the people that were there. But once I shifted
Mm-hmm.
my mindset of I'm gonna focus on people that are there, the people that do show up rather than those that don't. My whole mindset shifted. So I feel like socially I'm doing pretty good. I
Okay.
still have my lonely moments, but for the most part I see it's pretty good.
Okay. So, what are some things that you wish people better understood about living with lupus?
That we're still people. We're just people
Yeah.
that have, ailments. We might ache a little bit. And we might need a little bit more patience. We might not be the show up friend all the time, but we're
Mm-hmm.
still people and we still deserve that acknowledgement. And I wish
Right.
doctors understood that too, honestly. Like, we're just still people. Don't just treat me like a number or dismiss me because you assume something about me. Ask. I'm being
Mm-hmm.
open about my journey. I'm not being open about it for you to avoid me, So that's really one thing to just realize we're still people, even after a diagnosis.
Yeah. What keeps you motivated to continue to show up and being a voice in the advocacy space?
Really pain, just being tired of pain and seeing what it's doing to my friends that have lupus and just seeing people die from it and really preventable cases like lack of advocacy. That's why I do preach advocacy because there's so many doctors that will try to tell you how to feel. They'll let you die in their face. They'll watch you die.
Mm.
Like they will sit back and be like, well, you can't feel that way. And some people be like, okay, no, tell them how you feel. Tell them if you feel like you about to die. Sometimes even if you don't feel like that, sometimes you got to tell them that to
Yeah,
make
got to
it,
exaggerate it.
stress it
Yeah.
so they can
Yeah.
take it seriously.
Yeah.
So advocacy is definitely what drives me in watching, especially Black women. Us Black women go into the hospital and never leave. That be our dying place. So that's really
Mm-hmm.
why it what drives me because I'm tired of seeing these preventable things and having a lack of voice as patients. So that definitely drives me to keep
Yeah.
going in my
I
own
love
battle
that.
and being
Yeah.
tired of it. Just tired.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's more so for me being in that space of loneliness and then not having the community and just like you say, your regular friends, they just don't get it. But in the last year and a half, 2 years, I have found such a great community within this space. And it's like the conversations just hit different. It's just, I
Yeah.
don't know, like they just get it, especially in the content creation space. We are advocating and we are showing up. It's like a whole nother ball game. So I get it. What about your upcoming social involvement? Do you want to share more about that and what we can expect?
So every summer we do a social. It's kind of like it's a social for people that are already on our team, but it's also a social for people that are interested. So we kind of invited, and it's usually like a game night, or you usually have like a open bar or like park situation here in Atlanta. But it's usually, like I said, like if you want to be in our gala team, because we have our annual gala, so we create spaces for people, even if you just want to volunteer, not necessarily be a team member exactly or a certified board member, but that meeting is like a congregational space for people to come and just check it out, get to know everybody, or like I said, find out about more volunteer opportunities, join our gala planning team or the board itself. So but it's usually a lot of fun, the social, and it's usually around July. I
Mm-hmm.
usually try to wait to see when my daughter's going back to school,
Mm-hmm.
but it's usually like late July or early August.
Okay.
I usually post about it like 2 months ahead, so it should be posted soon.
You want to share a little bit more about the L.A.F.E and like exactly what you guys do over there?
hmm Okay, so the L.A.F.E, it started off more so virtually as like a support group, but now it's become more so of like a social networking safe haven, where we do not only online events, but we also do in-person events now and annual events such as the gala. And now we're also bringing back our fall event, that's called Muffins, Bagels, and Mimosas. That I'll be posting about that soon. It's like a brunch summit event.
Mm-hmm.
Have like a few loopies come in, and it's more so like a panel talk, but it's relaxed. It's not like formal or anything. It's like super casual. We have bottomless mimosas, so we try to make it fun and keep it upbeat, and have a DJ and everything in the background. But in the beginning, it's a really nice sit down, good to hear different backgrounds and just different journeys, and give people a chance to network.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another big thing that we're big on at the L.A.F.E is networking because, I feel like there's a space for everybody. And the more that we kind of combine and
Mm-hmm.
collab together, it can be bigger. Because, some people out there, there's a competition like, I have our organization. We doing this. Y'all do that. No, like
Mm-mm.
I am all about let's collab. Let's make our voice louder. Like you might
Right.
reach this crowd and I might reach this crowd. So
Mm-hmm.
I never see division in that. So the L.A.F.E, that's why I like to invite speakers to the gala or encourage people to, bring their business cards or brochures to all of our events because I'm not a gatekeeper and I just want us all to be a community.
Right.
Because that's essentially what the goal is, to share that voice in a big way.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we serve in the same community, so there's no need
Yes.
for competition. And
Because
like
I've
you
been seeing
said,
that a
it's
lot
some,
lately. It's just crazy.
yeah, I haven't experienced that. Gratefully, I guess everybody has been so welcoming and willing to share or, not gatekeep on information. So I haven't experienced that.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a gatekeeper. So when it's done to me, it's kind of like, oh, okay,
So, what would you say to someone that is newly diagnosed or who feels overwhelmed and alone right now?
to keep going. I know
Hmm.
the grass might not get greener tomorrow. It might not even get greener next week. But if you keep going and keep on flowing and sowing, it'll eventually, that next day will come, that better day will come. But if you give up, you won't see it. You got to keep going now. You can't give up. And because that's why I feel like that's what helped me the most, having my parents. They were great coaches in that way in the beginning of my journey. Like, they let me have my time and my little pity parties, but they like, all right, party over now. Time to wrap that pity party up
Hmm.
and gain that strength back. So I feel like just keep going. Just even if it seems so far away and the doctor's talking crazy and talking dark, just still real remember the light and just hold on to faith. That's my favorite
Yeah.
thing. Faith over fear. That's my thing.
I love it. So you shared this beautiful quote in the questionnaire, and it says that the race is not given to the swift, but to those who endure. What does that mean to you in this season of life?
Well, that's been my quote for sure since the beginning of my journey because, when you first start something, especially when you're chronically ill, it just seems like you're not doing things for your own timing. So it seems like everybody else is passing by, especially in your age group. And I used to play catch up. Like, that's why I was like, I got to go back to school. I got to do all this stuff. But really, as long as you get your own pace and you stay down just to ride it out, it's not going to matter. Once you just, so as long as you stay faithful to yourself, because the competition it's just a fake, invisible thing. You're not on
Yeah.
anybody's timing. You're not behind.
Yep.
So as long as you keep going, it don't matter. It don't matter whose timing is on. Just like that's why I love the story with the turtle in the hair.
Hmm.
The turtle like that. The rabbit thought he had time to sleep. Look at you back there. You take your time. He took a nap, and before you know it, the turtle crossing the finish line. And I feel like I'm that turtle. I really do. I feel like I'm that one that just kept going. People sleeping
Yeah.
on me like she had a baby, she got sick, and look at that. And then now I'm like, yeah, but I didn't stop. I
Hmm.
did my light, all the talk and the statistics and what the doctors told me I wouldn't do. So as long as you just keep your eyes in that faith, it'll work out.
Yeah. I love that. I'm strong on that too.
That's all we got. And being chronically ill, because the doctors, they don't know they talking about.
They don't.
They
They
don't. They
not.
just, that's what they call it a practice. They practice it.
That's it. That's a good one right there.
Because my brother, he's a PA, and that's what he said. He said, I ain't gonna lie, in the medical world, we call it practice. We don't know what we talking about. We just be guessing. Oh
Not
my God.
guessing.
Yeah, he was like, we'll guess y'all, give us the symptoms and go to basically Google and say, look, they got these symptoms. And then they're like, okay, it got to be one to three things now. Because it said it could be this.
Hmm. Yeah. I think what makes me so uncomfortable is when you are in those rooms and then they bring in the little, this is my so and so that's observant. Like, don't bring experienced people over here because we don't.
And students and all kind of stuff like, what?
So, where can everyone find you and more about the L.A.F.E?
We're the L.Life official on Instagram. So it's the and then the underdash L.Life official. And then we also have our L.Life support page. And that's literally just L.Life, not the in front of it, but llifesupport.com.
Thank you so much, Gabby, for being here and sharing your journey and being just open and vulnerable.
I had a great time. This is fun.
Well, thank you everyone for listening, and make sure you follow Gabby at the L.Life over on Instagram and at the L.Life Official to stay connected and learn more about the amazing events that she's having coming up soon. And until next time, guys, peace and be intentional. Bye.
We'll see you next time.
Sis, I hope this episode poured into you the way you needed today. I hope you're walking away feeling a little lighter, a little clearer, and a little more seen. If this spoke to you, share it with another woman who needs this reminder too. And if you're ready to go deeper, whether that's planning your life around your body and your season, working on your goals, or just needing some good old-fashioned support, check out the show notes for ways to connect with me, grab your planning tools, or join me in the inner circle. Until next time, take care of yourself, protect your peace, and keep building the life you're dreaming of.